Good afternoon and welcome to the, what is this, week 11? Week 12 football huddle? I don't know what to say. It's the semifinal football huddle. How's that sound? That's better.
Once I lose fingers, I get lost. I can't. You can only go to 10.
Welcome to the huddle, everybody.
There you go.
We're here to talk about the Dome, talk about the last week's quarterfinals, and boys, we don't have much left. A lot of quarterfinal casualties, and we're down to Iowa City Liberty and Mount Vernon, our last two teams standing. Let's see, JJ, let's start with KJ. You were at North Polk on Friday at Alleman, place I've never been. What was that place like, and what was that game like?
Well, it's a nice little the school has a nice little football stadium there. Nice turf field. Not a bad drive over there. Luckily, the weather was nice, and a rematch of last year's quarterfinal that was at the same location. Same result overall, even though this time around it wasn't near as close as last year. They played North Polk reached the Dome I think for the second time in school history last year, beating Xavier 17-14 this year, heading back to the Dome, but a little bit of an easier time with Xavier, 35-14. And I tell you guys, you run into people before the game and they ask you, well, what do you think? And one of the things that everybody seemed to have reach consensus on was Xavier needed to play a clean game. It was a winnable game, but they had to play clean and not turn the ball over. And they ended up with 4 turnovers. And things ended up, it kind of was true to form. The very first drive, Xavier had the ball and really kind of having their way with North Polk and marching it down. Little chunk, big gain, little chunk, gain. They get inside the North Polk 35, and they're facing 3rd and 4. A little bit of a swing pass to the running back. Hits off his hands and ball hits the ground and no whistle. Took a little bit for all the players to kind of realize it, and the North Polk jumped on it. And after that, it was a real fumble. And after that, it was just all North Polk. North Polk with 3 interceptions as well, if I remember right. 21 or 22 points off turnovers for North Polk. And North Polk had the running game was clicking. They rushed for 304 yards total. 3 touchdowns came on the ground. Nathan Feldman, their quarterback, nice little dual threat, rushed for 148 yards in a score, including a huge 58-yarder on the 3rd play of the second half. That really kind of broke things open. And Xavier's defense hung in there. North Polk had great field position the whole first half, and all they got was 1 touchdown that followed the opening fumble, and it was 8-0 at half. But that touchdown run at the beginning of the 3rd really broke things open for North Polk. BJ Tate had over 80 yards in a touchdown. We even had a big guy, Henry Christensen. He wears number 90, I think a lineman that they put back there at times, and he broke a huge touchdown run late. You got to give credit to Xavier. They kept battling. It was 35-0. How many times have you seen Xavier deal with a running clock against them? But Ryan Kelly, after it was 35-0, Ryan Kelly returned a touchdown or a kickoff for a touchdown, a little squib kick that he picked up. That made it 35-7 in the final minutes. They recovered an onside kick, and Cash Parks ran in from 8 yards to make it 35-14. I know there's some people that probably think, the game was out of hand, just let it go. But I want to commend Xavier. There's some people on the other side that thought them fighting for those last 2 touchdowns were a waste of time. And, that's a terrible lesson to teach kids. And Xavier fought all the way to the end. So commendable for them. And, of course, Dwayne Schulte said this game was indicative of the whole season. They've dealt with some injuries and adversity, and they kind of fought all the way through. Not a banner year when you look at Xavier's football history, especially over the last 10, 15 years. But for them to be 7-4 after kind of having guys out on the defensive side, Cash Parks missing time at quarterback, and to still be in the quarterfinals at 7-4 to end the season. Good season overall for them.
And probably better days to come, right? They've got some key sophomores on that team, and I assume they'll probably be a top 5 team in 4A going into next season.
Yeah, Cash Parks, the quarterback, just a sophomore. You got Carter Hoffman, who's a huge playmaker for them. He's a junior. He'll be coming back as a senior. Got guys, like Michael Bean, Caleb Lofswold, guys like that on the defensive side. Xander Armstrong had 8 tackles and 2 tackles for loss, in the game against North Polk. So they've got some talent coming back, and I would expect them to be right in the mix again next year.
JJ, you were at Decorah Friday for Decorah, and was it North Scott?
Yep.
In a 4A quarterfinal, and another heartbreak for another area team there. What'd you see up there in Winneshiek County?
It was a good day to drive, first of all. So that was important because, as anybody from Cedar Rapids knows, there's just no easy way to get from Cedar Rapids to Decorah and back. So that was first and foremost, being selfish, of course. And then 28-24 final North Scott with the win, and a 25-yard pass with 29 seconds left from quarterback Chase Smith to receiver Kai Smith. Kind of a nice fade to the left corner of the end zone. No relation those two are, by the way. And heartbreak for Decorah. They let Decorah led after the first quarter, led at halftime, led after 3 quarters, and had that lead there late and literally needed one more first down after recovering a muff punt with 4 or 5 minutes left. Probably needed one more first down to kill off the clock. Didn't get it. North Scott took over, I think, at its between its 15 and 20-yard line, I believe, and just move the ball down the field. I mean, Chase Smith's a really nice quarterback. He threw I had him throwing for about 350 and 350 yards. And that's kind of the North Scott's game. Once they go sideline to sideline, a lot of wide receiver screens, have some really good receivers. And just really disappointing for Decorah. Tanner Cadell, I got to give him props. As we talked about, I think on previous podcasts, Louis Buxa, who was the quarterback all season, one of the leaders for this Decorah team, and he got hurt late in the regular season. And so Decorah had to bring in an untested junior who wears number 35. You got to love quarterbacks that wear number 35. And, he did a really good job. He ran for, I think I had him 135 yards and a couple of touchdowns, and no turnovers, things like that. So, yeah, just a heartbreaker for Decorah. First, and as it turned out, only loss of the season for the Vikings, and North Scott moves on to the semifinals, and we'll see everything goes. Guys, it was weird. I think I texted you both because we were all at games Friday night, and it was you're kind of looking at those scores and it's like, dang, we're not going to have anybody that's going to the semifinals. And unfortunately, that's the way it turned out, right? I don't know how many quarterfinal games our area teams lost, but it was a ton. And Jeff, you were at one of them, Lisbon and Madrid, and young man from Madrid had a hell of a game, huh?
Yeah. Preston Wicker, the quarterback, 215 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. And Madrid was a better team on this day. Just kind of controlled the ball. Both teams made some mistakes. Let's see. I think both teams had 3 turnovers, but Madrid was the more consistent team, and kudos to them. And then they'll move on to the semifinals. Lisbon finishes a really nice season with just 1 loss. So, yeah, not a whole lot to say about it. Too much Preston Wicker, and not quite enough from the Lions in this one. So, we talked about, it didn't look good for a lot of area teams, but one of the teams we probably would have given 0 chance at halftime was Mount Vernon, and what were they down 22-0, and they come back to win. So how about that?
It's a Meester family world right now, right, Lindy?
Yeah,
in all forms. Coach Brad Meester and then a couple of his daughters are state volleyball champs. We'll talk about that a little bit, but 22-0. Algona led that game Friday night. And Mount Vernon just kind of hung in there, and I think actually had a lead in the early in the 4th quarter. Algona grabbed it back on a big play, and the Mustangs just put together a drive at clutch time when they needed it, and scored with, I think, under 30 seconds left, a touchdown. I think it was Kellen Haber back to was it Michael Ryan, maybe with the touchdown, if I remember correctly, and got the 2-point conversion and then hung on late. So great comeback win. It's not advisable. I don't know much, guys, but it's not advisable to get down 22-0 in a playoff game and try and dig yourself out of that hole. But kudos to the Mustangs, right?
Right.
So they, Brad Meester, obviously a Parkersburg boy. So they stopped in at the Sacred Acre on the way from Mount Vernon to Algona. Is that true?
Yeah,
How cool.
It was a good 3-hour trip, and so Parkersburg was roughly halfway, more or less. So Coach Meester decided to stop. It just worked out perfectly, he said, and so the boys climbed off the bus, put in a little bit of practice, a little bit of run through, walk through, just stretch their legs a little bit, and then hop right back on the bus after a little while, and finish the trip to Algona. And who knows, maybe Ed Thomas, the late great Ed Thomas, had something to do with this win, huh? Divine intervention. Who knows? But that was pretty neat. I thought that was pretty neat. And that's a good way to break up a very long trip, right?
True. Yeah. KJ mentioned offside here that area teams were 2-11 in the quarters. Ooh, I guess one thing that I found interesting, there weren't any area versus area games, were there? And it seemed like everybody was on the road.
No,
that's right. Good point.
Liberty was the lone team. Lisbon hosted as well. But
Decorah.
Regina and Decorah. So only 4 games that were hosted by area teams. And like you said, Lindy, none of them were head-to-head battles of area teams.
We'll just kind of go through this week real quick. We got 2 area games. We'll just kind of go through the whole bunch if I can find them. We will have a new 8-player state champion. Remsen St. Mary's dethroned Algona Garrigan 22-20 with a last-minute touchdown and 2-point conversion. Lennox and Gladbrook Rhinebeck are underway in the other 8-man game. And I think last I saw was 7-0 Gladbrook Rhinebeck. So
7
we're
all
looking
right
at
now. 7 all.
7 apiece. All right.
Yep.
So Thursday, we got 4 games. We got Class A, Class 4A. West Hancock plays Madrid at 10 a.m., St. Ansgar and Tri-Center at 1. And in 4A, Lewis Central and Pella at 4, North Polk and North Scott at 7. Friday, we've got 1A and 5A. First 1A, Grundy Center plays Wilton at 10 a.m. Dyke New Hartford plays Hinton at 1. In 4A, it's at Dowling Valley matchup at 4. And then Liberty and Southeast Polk at 7. Saturday is 2A and 3A day. It's in 2A, it's PCM Spirit Lake at 10, West Lyon Van Meter at 1. I think we all agree that those 4 are the cream of the crop in 2A that kind of have been all season.
Yep.
And in 3A, it's Waller, Sergeant Bluff Luton. Co-number 1's in the last Gazette poll at 4 o'clock, and then at 7, it's Mount Vernon and Humboldt. So anything really stand out with any of those games or any of those classes for you guys?
Well, in Class 5A, you've got that West Des Moines rivalry in the semis, Swenson and Wilson, Valley and Dowling going at it. That's always an attention getter when those two face off, especially when it's in the semifinals or anytime in the Dome. Liberty, what a great season. One thing we haven't mentioned yet is that the 2 teams in the semifinals from our area, first-year head coaches. Scott Chandler has done a fantastic job with the Lightning, leading them to their first semifinal. Brad Meester, longtime Mount Vernon assistant, taking over from Lance Peterson and has gotten them back to the Dome. But the one thing I want to say about that Liberty Southeast Polk game, remember last year how Valley went over, and I said at the beginning of the playoffs, Southeast Polk gave me that West Des Moines Valley vibe going over to Pleasant Valley. At the time, what were they, 4-5, 5-4, something like that, to start the postseason. And here they've just rifled off wins over PV and Iowa City West, and now they're in the Dome again, the 3-time defending state champ. So I think 5A is pretty compelling when you look at the 2 West Des Moines schools going at each other, and then you have the Lightning making their first appearance under first-year head coach Scott Chandler, and then the 3-time defending state champ that finished the regular season 5-4 back at the Dome.
Would you guys agree that if you'd have said at the beginning of the season that Mount Vernon would be in the Dome, yeah, I can absolutely see that. And if you'd have said that Liberty would be in the Dome, you'd say, huh? Would you agree with that? I didn't see anything like this coming out of Liberty this year.
I would agree. And, you watch that team, though, guys, and I think we all have at some point this year. A lot of weapons, just a lot of good athletes, that you can get the ball to. And that's kind of been the biggest thing to me. And I think what's most encouraging, and I don't know if you guys would agree, but here in the playoffs, the defense, which has kind of been much maligned, hasn't been that great when you look at the number of points per game that Liberty has given up. I mean, it's really been improved in the preseason games, and I think held Ankeny to a little over 200 yards or so in the quarterfinal win last week. So, we'll see if that bodes well for to try and knock off the 3-time defending state champ, 5A champs here in Southeast Polk. So one thing, two guys.
Liberty's defense is not. I was just going to say quick, Liberty's defense has not allowed more than 2 scores in 3 of the last 4 games it's played. So that really highlights your point, JJ, about them playing well on that side of the ball lately.
I was just going to say one other thing with the first-year head coaches. It's about 21 years of NFL experience from those 2. I don't know if you could discount that, right?
Right.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt. So one of you, let's see, who's got what this week? One of you has Mount Vernon. One of you has Liberty. Who's going which day, Friday or Saturday?
I got let's see, I got Liberty and Polk on Friday, and Pilcher's going to do Mount Vernon
and Humboldt.
and both night games. So yeah, great for the actual newspaper, right? So
Yeah. So,
Yep, and kind of looking for that the Mount Vernon and Humboldt. When you look, common opponents, right? Solon, Mount Vernon inches away from getting a win against Solon. That was their lone loss, 7-6. Boy, I think way back maybe week 4 or something like that. Humboldt, which just walloped Solon last week 35-3, which I'm not surprised Humboldt came away with a win, but the way they won, I think surprised me really, putting it to Solon there in the quarters. So, take that with a grain of salt, but you've got two teams that just about even as far as their rush game goes, and total offense. Really, they're within 100 yards of each other in both counts. Mount Vernon's defensive front. I have said I think it's probably the most aggressive front 4, front 7. And they wreak a lot of havoc. So it may just come down to how well that unit plays on Saturday night to determine if Mount Vernon gets back to the championship game.
I look at this Humboldt team and his schedule, and man, it's won a lot of close games. When you look at it, we talked about blown out Solon the week before. Clear Lake, the first round, won by 3 points. Beat Algona by a point earlier in the regular season. Beat Van Meter by 7. Beat Ballard by 3. They only lost to North Polk, 26-17. So, I don't know if that says anything other than, these boys know how to win close games. But, it'll be interesting. Certainly. And KJ, I mean, you like that Mount Vernon team. You said at the beginning of the playoffs that
Yep.
you think that this is the best team in 3A, and I guess we'll find out here.
We'll find out soon.
Yeah, exactly.
And one more thing about the defense, I'm probably too much of a dork on numbers and statistics. But when you look at what Mount Vernon has done up front, 62 sacks as a team compared to 11 from Humboldt, 124 tackles for loss, almost double what Humboldt has on its defensive side. But just that kind of unit compared to another semifinalist, I mean, that's pretty astounding. I think what they've been able to do and to live on the other team's side of the line of scrimmage, it's no doubt that's a big reason why they're 10-1 and where they're at right now. And they're going to need more of it if they want to make sure Saturday is not the end of the road and they're turning in equipment on Monday morning.
all right, so I'm going to put you guys both on the spot and me as well. Let's just kind of go through the dome brackets and let's pick a champion in all 7 classes. It'll be a little bit easier in 8-player since we're down to 3 teams. But who do you guys like in 8-player? What's that?
I'm not picking Garrigan.
All right.
Yes, me either. How's that? Clairvoyant. I think KJ and I are clairvoyant on this one. So
there you go.
I'm going to go with St. Mary's. I don't know why.
KJ?
Do I have to pick somebody different?
No.
All right, I'll go with St. Mary's as well.
I will too.
Actually, you know what? You know what? I'll go with St. Mary's. I'll go with St.
Yeah.
Mary's.
I will as well. I had them as my number one all year. It'd be dumb for me to go against that now. Class A, we got West Hancock, Madrid, St. Ansgar, Tri-Center. KJ, you want to go first on this one?
Sure. For me, I think it's West Hancock and the rest of the field. I like West Hancock.
JJ.
I'm going St. Ansgar. I don't know. They played a real close game with West Hancock in the regular season, and apparently, we all know both those teams are slugging out offensive philosophies, but St. Ansgar apparently can throw the ball a little bit too, and did very well in the game against Maquoketa Valley in the quarterfinals. So I'm going to go off the board here. Well, give me the Saints.
All right. I'll go off the board too, and I'm going to go Tri-Center. I'm going to go with the boys from Neola and Minden and out there. I'm not sure what the other Tri-Center is. I could probably find it, but I like them. I think they've got a good shot at it. So 4A, we got Lewis Central, Pella. We got North Polk, North Scott. JJ, you're first.
Give me North Polk. Again, I don't know why, but it's a pretty good foursome here. But give me North Polk to win it.
KJ.
Oh boy, I am going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Pella.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the old Duck.
I'm not sure that's too long of a limb, but I think that's a good pick. I'm going to go North Polk as well. The way they manhandled Xavier, that was very impressive. So Friday we got the semis: Grundy and Wilton, Dyke, New Hartford, and Hinton. I think we've all been saying all along that if there's a lock in any of these 7 classes, it might be Grundy. I'm going to go with the Spartans, although Dyke New Hartford's pretty good. They played Grundy, I think, was it 21-7 early in the year, and if they play again, who knows? But KJ, who you got?
Grundy.
Yeah, like you said, Lindy, I think that was the one that we said if there was a class that was a lock, that might be the one, and that's what I'm going with. And hats off to Wilton, by the way, kind of stole one in a way from Regina in the quarterfinals, right? They were down 14-7, scored late to come within a point, decided to go for 2, didn't get it, recovered the onside kick, drove back down, scored again, and with less than a minute left to win that game. So and that was one where they hadn't beaten Regina for what, 7 or 8 or more.
It was like at least 14.
Okay, there you go.
It was like 14-0. That's as far back as Bound went.
Okay.
Time.
So, hats off to the Beavers for just being in this position. But long story short, Grundy Center.
All right. 5A, Dowling Valley, Liberty, Southeast Polk. JJ.
Man. Zay Robinson has returned for Valley. He played in the quarterfinals, so that's a significant re-addition. He'd been hurt. Man, that's tough. I'm going to go Dowling. I just think it's the Maroons' year.
KJ, agree, disagree?
Oh, I hate being a copycat. But I sure as hell I'm not picking Valley. Whether or not I can see an upset on the other side, I don't know. I'll take the easy way out and fall in line with JJ and say Dowling.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. 2A, these should be fun. PCM, Spirit Lake, West Lyon, Van Meter. KJ, you're on the clock.
Okay, so I'm I'm just gonna my top 3 teams in my preseason poll, because you mentioned all year long, so I drudged up my preseason poll. I had Spirit Lake Park as my preseason number 1, or Spirit Lake, sorry. So what the heck? I'm going to go with Spirit Lake. I like PCM, but I'll go with Spirit Lake. What the heck?
All right, JJ.
Give me West Line.
Yeah.
It's hard to bet against West Line ever.
Hard to bet against any of them. But
Man,
yeah,
look at these 4. I mean, this is a great semifinal bracket, right? You know,
Yeah, I
they
think
meet
so.
with traditional power. PCM's undefeated. I think what a terrific semifinals all together on Saturday. But I'm going with Westline.
Yep, I will as well. 3A, we got Wahlert, Sergeant Bluff. We've got Mount Vernon, Humboldt. JJ, you want to go first on that one?
Man, it's hard to bet against. Again, I mean, these are 4 really quality football teams. Give me man, almost flip a coin with these 4. I'm gonna go. I think Dubuque Wahlert gets it done. I don't know why. How's that? No explanation.
That's certainly valid. KJ, you still think Mount Vernon's the best team?
Hey, I got to put my money where my mouth is, right? Put up or shut up. A couple weeks ago, I said I thought they were the best, and I got to stick with it. So,
all right.
Mount Vernon.
I'm gonna go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry,
you had more to say. I was just gonna finish up on that one. So you go ahead, and I'll go next here.
Who do you have for your pick? Mine isn't kind of related to the pick, so
I'm gonna go with the team that was 2-7 last year. I'm gonna go with Sergeant Bluff Luton. They are explosive.
Very fair.
That's that'd be an awesome turnaround for them. I just was going to share, since I did find my preseason poll. The only one team that I had as a preseason number 1, or actually 2, did not make the Dome. But my number 1s to start the season were Southeast Polk, Lewis Central in 4A, Williamsburg in 3A, but Mount Vernon was my preseason number 2. Spirit Lake was my number 1 in 2A, which my top 5 was Spirit Lake, West Lyon, Van Meter, Central Lyon, then PCM was number 5. So 4 of those teams are in the semifinals. I think that's pretty cool. And of course, Grundy Center was my number 1. And then Remsen St. Mary's has been my number 1 all season in an 8-player. But anybody care to guess who I had number 1 in Class A?
That wouldn't be hard for me to look. I know somebody had Lisbon. That wasn't you. No.
Let's just say I did not do very well with predicting Class A to start the year.
Well, neither did I, because I had Mount Air. I don't know. Who'd you have?
Woodbury Central.
They're Woodbury.
They were the consensus number 1, though. So it's not like you were out on a limb by yourself, not knowing what you were doing.
Sure. Well, that's debatable, but that's good to know I had others with me on that one. But Madrid and West Hancock were 3, 4. St. Ansgar was number 8. So we'll
just kind of go through all that. I've got all that in front of me now. So preseason in 5A, I had Ankeny, JJ had Valley. KJ had Southeast Polk.
Yep.
4A, I was going to go with Gilbert, but I found out that they had a little bit of an injury issue. I ended up with Ballard at number 1 in 4A to start the year.
They had a good
JJ,
year.
well, both of you guys had Lewis Central, right?
Yep.
I believe so. Yeah.
3A, I had West Delaware. JJ had Williamsburg. KJ had Williamsburg.
Correct.
2A, I had West Lyon. JJ and Spirit Lake, or JJ and KJ both had Spirit Lake. 1A, I had Wilton.
Oh, that was
JJ had Grundy. KJ had Grundy. 8 players. KJ and I both had Remsen St. Mary's. JJ had Lennox. Lennox isn't looking like a bad one either.
yeah.
So,
Any update on their game with Gladbrook Rhinebeck?
last I saw was 14-all.
20 to 14 GR.
All right.
Right before half.
Awesome.
All right. So, all right. Anything else you guys care to yak about before we call it a day?
Jeff, why don't you tell us real quick about state volleyball, because you worked your butt off last week. And
yeah. Well, I wasn't alone. I had good help. Savannah and Jim did a really good job behind the lens, and Mike Condon was really good help covering the other court first 3 days. So Ankeny Christian won their 3rd straight 1A title. 2A, it was Denver's year. They got past Dyke New Hartford in the semis and went on to win the thing. And 3A was Mount Vernon. We talked a little bit about the Meester family, and I'd be really surprised if Chloe Meester's not the state volleyball player of the year whenever that comes out. They beat Western Christian in the finals handily. So 4A, it was Sioux City Heelan. They beat Pella in the finals quickly. And 5A and a four-setter, it was Pleasant Valley over defending champ Waukee Northwest. So that's the name of that tune. What's that?
it was a good week, long week.
It was a good week. Yep. So
hey, since we mentioned Mount Vernon, and of course, winning state volleyball in the semifinals in football, Linder, I believe both the boys and the girls cross country teams placed in the top 5.
Yeah.
At state. What a fall for Mount Vernon, being in the top 5 in all of their fall sports, boys and girls. That's that's fantastic.
Yeah, and they're not the only one that can say that. Pella girls won the cross country title. Their boys were second. Their girls were second in volleyball, and they're still going in football. So the Dutch and the Mustangs are
very impressive.
They're the big winners this fall.
You always love to see that. That community wide success for schools and everybody really kind of thriving, right? They say, it's the old saying, a high tide raises all boats, right?
Yeah.
It appears to be true at Pella and Mount Vernon this fall.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys can tell me how they're going to be this winter in boys basketball and wrestling, but their girls basketball team is absolutely a title contender in 3A.
Mount Vernon will be pretty salty again on the wrestling mat for the boys and girls.
Yep.
All right. Any parting thoughts before we shut this puppy down?
Let's play ball. How about that?
Make sure to check out the Gazette.com for all our content. This week we'll have previews of our 5A and 3A or semifinal games. You can also catch some of that volleyball content from last week that Linder talked about. You can follow me at KJ Pilcher on X, formerly Twitter, if you feel like it. And then JJ, it's JEJE66, correct?
Correct.
Hey, while we're talking Twitter and hashtags and all that stuff, have either of you guys started that Blue Sky?
I've not.
I have
I've
not
not.
either.
I
Is
have
it
not
good?
either, but I hear it's pretty good.
Okay,
Really?
So
try it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, for JJ, for KJ, it's Jeff Linder here. Enjoy the games, whether it's tonight or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We got a lot of stuff going on in the Dome, and we doing this next week or no?
Why not?
Yeah.
One
Wait
more
and see
week.
what happens.
Yeah.
One more week, we can break down what games we had, and if we're lucky enough to have a finalist next week.
Perfect.
All right, we'll do that. All right, thanks again, and thanks for watching us all season. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.